Okay, so recently a friend of mine that I've known since I was age 5 told me a crazy story. First I need to get something. The Chinese Communist Party, or CCP, has been hiding this for 26 years. 26 years. For 26 years, the CCP has secretly been arresting, torturing, and even killing people who practice Falun Gong. But what is Falun Gong and what do they do? This is Falun. It's the main teachings of Falun Gong, which guides practitioners to live by the tenets of truthfulness, compassion, and forbearance. So why did the CCP crack down on a practice that teaches people to be good, to help others, and to look within? Well, it's because these values are completely contrary to the CCP's ideologies. Let me read an excerpt from the 9 commentaries. It says, quote, "The Communist Party does not believe in the divine, nor does it even respect physical nature. Battle with heaven, fight with the earth, struggle with humans. Therein lies endless joy." This was the motto of the CCP during the Cultural Revolution, a time when unprecedented suffering was inflicted on the Chinese people and the land. So by 1998, there was 70 to 100 million people practicing Falun Gong in China. And that's according to official Chinese government reports. That is more people than there are members in the Chinese Communist Party, which was at 60 million. It had more followers than the party itself, and that scared them. The CCP leader at the time, Jiang Zemin, afraid to lose power, showed an ultimate move of authority to the Chinese people. He launched an unprecedented crackdown on Falun Gong practitioners. From detention to forced labor to practitioners being tortured to death and unthinkable human rights atrocities, including large-scale organ harvesting on live patients. Okay guys, right now I am here with Hubert. Hubert is a very close friend of mine. We literally grew up together, but I don't know this story about you.
I was only 2 at the time. And it's only recently that I asked my parents what happened, and then my dad was like, "Oh yeah, so you got arrested." I could have died. That was when I learned like how serious this was.
Let's go back a little bit. Can you tell me about the situation at that time? Why were your parents in China? Because I know you were born in America, right?
Right, I was born in America. So at the time, we were all living in America. When the persecution first started, my parents wanted to go back to China to clarify the truth to the government, to say, hey, you know, we're not bad people, this is a mistake. At the same time, in December of that year, it was announced that there was going to be this public hearing held in Beijing, a public trial for 4 Falun Gong practitioners that were arrested. Anyone who wants to spectate, they can come to the court and listen to the hearing. My family took a cab to the courthouse, and as we were approaching, we were stopped by police. And that was when we realized that something was off, because all the streets were cordoned off. There was police everywhere. They asked us if we were Falun Gong practitioners. My parents were like, yeah, and they're like, okay, come with us. And they loaded everyone who was there onto buses. They took all those people to a nearby stadium called Shijingshan Stadium.
If I'm understanding it correctly, this is basically like a trap.
Exactly, so we were there for the trial, but no one made it to the trial. Thousands of people were crammed into this stadium and we were being processed. People were being sent to different prisons throughout China where all the people were gathered.
How many people were there at the time?
My parents think it was like a couple thousand.
And you're the only child there?
There were like families there and stuff. Basically, like the whole day I had nothing to eat, and I was like 2-year-old, so I was starting to get cranky. And then there was this like a lady who was like talking to my parents. She had her kid too. She gave me some of baby food that she had for her own kid. I at least had something to eat.
These police were basically arresting babies. Literally, like they're taking families, right? It sounds crazy.
It was the December of Beijing, so it gets really cold. We were all being processed in like the shadow part of the stadium. I was just like waddling off into the sunny area because it was warmer there. And then one of the police who was watching over us got really annoyed, and then he shooed me back into the shadow. Me being a kid at the time, I was like very confused, and I was like trying to ask my dad like what's going on. And then my dad tried to explain like that cop or that police, bad. He doesn't want good people to be in the sun.
You actually remember this?
No, most of it I don't remember. So I had to like find out slowly over the years from my parents. When I finally realized like shoot, like that was like a very near miss.
I mean, what happened afterwards?
People were being sent off to prison, basically. Also labor camps. Eventually it got to my parents. My mom was asking a question like, oh yeah, so actually we're not really sure what's going on because we're from the States and then we just got back to China. What we've been hearing overseas is a little different from like what's happening now, like what is going on here. There was like a bunch of police guards, and then there was one guy who was not wearing a uniform. And then he was like, how long have you been living in the United States? My parents were like, oh, we've been living for however many years. He was like, so your son is an American? And my parents were like, yeah, he is. And then that guy, he left the room after that. And then when he came back, he was like, okay, you know what? You guys can leave. We were the only people that actually left the stadium that day, like not going to prison.
So all the other people went to prison?
Yeah, exactly. My parents said like we never saw them ever again. And my parents speculate is that at the time when the persecution first started in 1999, the government was very careful about detaining Americans. Like diplomatically, it was kind of taboo for them.
I think you guys are just really lucky.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a couple thousand people and only your family was able to leave. Going through this experience, even though you don't have much recollection, does it change who you are? What
could have happened to me is still going on today. It kind of gives me a sense of responsibility that I have to be a voice for the people who can't speak out in China. You know, the thousands of people that day who never had a chance at freedom or even the chance to live. I can't just stand by and stay silent. That's the worst thing you could do, is to allow this evil to perpetuate. Even though the majority of the Shen Yun performance is covering the thousands of years of civilization, the mythology, and the values of China before communism, one of the most impactful and powerful pieces that we have are the ones that touch upon the very serious modern day problems. It's a very beautiful way to solve a very ugly problem. Raising awareness is like one of the key steps that we have to take to put an end to like all the bad stuff that's going on in China.
Actually, speaking about raising awareness, also hearing your story of what you went through in China, what the Communist Party did to your family. Basically, this repression, it's become transnational. The Communist Party is using different methods to bring this kind of a persecution of Falun Gong overseas. They've slashed our bus tires, our truck tires. They've threatened to put a bomb in the theater, multiple like death threats to people. Another thing they're doing, and which is what I actually want to talk about with you, Hubert, is they're using the media in general to attack us.
One of the instances is like Will, you know, like a close friend of ours,
Three Musketeers.
One day we were in rehearsals and then someone was barging in and was like, hey Will, look at this. It was photos of Will. Yeah. And then it was like an X account under his name, and like it was writing the most like outrageous things about like Shen Yun, like completely false, all kinds of information going on. And then Will was like, what the heck, what's going on? And then they had X take it down, and then they were investigating it. And so these are the kind of tactics the Communist Party frequently uses to discredit you. Whatever means possible, destroy your reputation, take down your credibility. So in China, they want to destroy Falun Gong and spiritual believers. They want to destroy them financially, psychologically, and physically. These are the three goals that they state. But when they export the persecution overseas, they want to leverage their influence over mainstream media, weaponize social media to try to craft a narrative so that you can't speak out. Whatever you say, people will discredit you. They'll have critics say all kinds of things to distract people away from what's going on in China. People are dying, people are getting tortured, but then they want to say like, oh, Shen Yun actually has these problems, don't listen to Shen Yun, don't watch Shen Yun. Whatever means necessary to get people away from Shen Yun, or any efforts to raise awareness about what's going on.
I just want to really thank you for sharing that with me, even though it has been 25 years, you never told me this. Before we finish, I just want to ask if you have anything you want to tell the audiences.
First of all, thank you, Sam, for letting me share my story. And thank you for listening to my story, which is just one of countless stories that have taken place in the 26 years of persecution that have been going on in China. And I just want to say, if you want to help us put an end to all the bad stuff that's going on, please share this video to your friends and family. We can raise awareness together. We can bring an end to all these atrocities.
Thank you so much for watching that video. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe on this video and share it with your friends and family. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know in the comments, because there's a lot of amazing stories here in Shen Yun that I want to share with you guys. I think that's it. Catch you guys on the next one. Bye-bye. Hubert, are there any other stories that you haven't told me? Like, you can just let me know now, because